Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me today for our second interview in the new series of conversations the Maryland Chamber of Commerce has launched in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. My name is Whitney Harmel, and I'm the Vice President of Membership and Development for the Maryland Chamber and the Maryland Chamber Foundation. Right now, so many of our members are stepping up and showing tremendous leadership, and I'm honored today to be joined by Sean Kirk. Sean is the Executive Vice President of Manufacturing and Technical Operations at Emergent BioSolutions. Sean, thank you very much for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Whitney. This is a fantastic opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. So you have been with Emergent BioSolutions since 2003. Can you share your Emergent story with our listeners?
Oh, yeah, sure. So, yeah, I've been around quite a while with the company, and I'm proud of that fact. I did begin back in summer of 2003. I actually started at our Lansing, Michigan facility, running the anthrax vaccine manufacturing department there. So, our company, as you well know, began at Lansing with that Lansing facility with one product, BioThrax, which is the FDA's only licensed anthrax vaccine. And from there, we've really grown over the years. And I've had a tremendous opportunity to contribute to the success of the organization and to be part of that growth.
Excellent. So I know Emergent actually was established in 1998. You all have a long history of partnership with the government agencies under the Department of Health and Human Services. Tell us about the overall mission of Emergent BioSolutions and how your dedication to public health has really positioned you to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, so if you go back to our original roots, if you will, back in Michigan, that's really where the story began. And beginning with BioThrax, the anthrax vaccine, during the 9/11 crisis, during the anthrax mailings, that was really the beginning of our journey as an organization. Back then, we were a Department of Defense contractor. We provided anthrax vaccine to the U.S. government, and then shortly after the anthrax mailings, the government began to rally around biopreparedness, if you will, ultimately leading to the creation of BARDA, for example, as a very important agency in the fight against bioterrorism. And as a company, we began to diversify and grow. From Lansing, we began to execute a variety of different acquisitions, initially really in that biodefense space, acquiring companies, organizations, products that really serve that biodefense mission, if you will. But as we began to diversify and evolve our strategy, we knew that we were really capable of leveraging the awesome talent and internal infrastructure that we'd acquired through these acquisitions over the years to broaden our strategic focus on a variety of different public health threats. As you know, that has led to the acquisition of products such as Narcan, the inhalational antidote for opioid overdose, as well as a travel health vaccine portfolio. So we've tried to expand our expertise, if you will, in development and manufacturing, in the oversight of production operations, in government relations, and are building new capabilities in commercialization, expanding our medical affairs capability as an example to support that new diversification. And I'm really proud of that. But back to your initial point, through the expansion of that, we've really enhanced our relationships with the U.S. government. We're very proud of that, whether it's NIAID, BARDA, or the Strategic National Stockpile for preparedness that many people hear about today in the news. Emergent's had a long-standing role in national preparedness, and as the organizations like BARDA, for example, have grown and expanded their impact on biopreparedness for the nation, so has Emergent. You mentioned, I believe, a good example, which is our Center for Innovation, Advanced Development, and Manufacturing facility in Baltimore, Maryland. We refer to it as Bayview. It is one of three facilities partnered with BARDA beginning in 2012 domestically here in the U.S., where Emergent co-funded the building of that capability. And it's the perfect example of not only of the confluence, if you will, between the mission of our company in biopreparedness and public health threats and the mission of the U.S. government agencies dedicated to mitigating these threats. It's the manifestation of readiness. That facility was really built with pandemic response in mind, and we were happy to be able to bring that capability as well as other capabilities across the Emergent enterprise to this fight to beat COVID.
So now, when Emergent established itself in 1998, you said that you were headquartered in Lansing, Michigan. You are now headquartered in Gaithersburg, Maryland. Were the decision to move the headquarters, was that due to connecting with the Department of Health and Human Services and developing those relationships? And then can you also talk about just briefly the different locations that you do have around the United States?
Yeah, sure. So it's a good question. So actually, back then, Lansing was our only manufacturing plant, and Fuad El Hibli, our founder and CEO at the time, he actually lived in Maryland and had an office here. So we always had a connection to Maryland, and we always saw that very important to the strategic growth of our business for the reasons that you mentioned, as well as others. Affiliation with the regulatory bodies, FDA, close proximity to those organizations and government agencies that I mentioned earlier to be able to expand our partnership, as well as the connectivity to many local organizations as we looked to expand and grow our business over time.
Well, you're transitioning me perfectly in talking about some local agencies and some local work. Recently, Emergent posted a video message from your CEO, Bob Kramer, regarding recent partnerships as well as commitments to the community and to your employees. I'd like to read one of those statements that Mr. Kramer wrote that really stood out to me, and it reads as follows. We are committed to combating COVID-19 by developing and manufacturing plasma-derived therapeutics on our proprietary hyperimmune platforms, as well as deploying our vaccine and contract development and manufacturing capabilities and expertise. Will you spend a few minutes, this is really the heart of our conversation today, in detailing out these new partnerships and the announcements that were made all around the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, sure. And I just realized I didn't answer the second part of your question, which had to do with our capabilities. And let me touch on that first. Our acquisition strategy, once again, has brought a tremendous amount of capability into our organization, both in terms of platform technologies and property, plant, and equipment across a variety of different platforms, but also a tremendous amount of talent. I really can't overemphasize that latter point. Our people are the essence of what we do and the capability we bring to bear. So just to quickly run through the list, in Winnipeg, Manitoba, we have plasma-derived therapeutic manufacturing capability, which I'll come back to in a moment. In Lansing, Michigan, we have bacterial manufacturing. That's where I began, as I mentioned, and where we produce our anthrax vaccine. In Canton, Massachusetts, we have bulk manufacturing for ACAM 2000, which is our smallpox vaccine. That product then transitions down to Rockville, Maryland, where we have viral fill finish. If you expand a little bit more in Maryland here, we have, as I mentioned before, the CIEDM facility at Bayview in Baltimore, Maryland, as well as a sterile fill finish facility just down the road near Raven Stadium in we call Camden because of the location, that is also part of that continuum. Aside from the corporate headquarters, we also have a product development facility in Gaithersburg, Maryland. So domestically, we have a fantastic footprint in the U.S. We have the very important facility in Canada that I mentioned before. And we actually have a facility in Bern, Switzerland, where we manufacture our travel health vaccine portfolio. So just wanted to give you that overview first before I talk about, to Bob's point, how we're bringing that capability to bear in the COVID fight. So first of all, as Bob mentioned in his video, we've signed a partnership with Novavax, which you know is a local business here in Gaithersburg, Maryland. They have a fantastic capability. They have a fantastic platform that's demonstrated a lot of potential. And they're a small organization, so it's the perfect marriage between their wonderful technology and their motivation to advance this fight using their platform and our established infrastructure and talent that we can bring to bear to advance them. Similarly, we announced a deal with Vaxart, another different type of vaccine, also a similar scenario where they have a promising technology and capability. And we have the muscle, the talent, and the experience to help advance that vaccine into the clinic and hopefully beyond. Lastly, as you alluded to and as Bob mentioned, we have our own internal product development. And going back to that facility in Winnipeg, Manitoba, it's really a great story. That facility has decades of experience in the development and manufacturing of plasma-derived therapeutics. And specifically, we have two shots on goal in the COVID fight from our plasma-derived therapeutic platform. First, we have the human platform. We have multiple licensed products that were developed and are being manufactured on that human platform in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And essentially what that is we will take the plasma, the blood plasma, from patients who have navigated and survived a COVID infection, and we know they have antibodies against the virus. We can then purify those antibodies out of that plasma, concentrate them, and use them potentially to treat sick patients. The beauty of that platform is that we have an established safety database from other products that we can ideally leverage in partnership with the FDA to advance that into the clinic as soon as possible. Similarly, in Winnipeg, we have an equine derived platform. So it's a different manufacturing suite at that facility. And essentially what that is, and we have licensed, developed and licensed a product. It's a botulinum antitoxin product that goes to the Strategic National Stockpile to treat folks who have botulism poisoning. We can use that same platform through the stimulation of horses. So we can stimulate horses to generate large volumes of antibody and once again purify them for potential use on sick patients suffering from the COVID infection. The reason they're two different, obviously, platforms is one is equine and it's segregated from our human platform. But I just wanted to spend a moment to talk about that because it's a fantastic capability. That facility is run by some wonderful people in our organization, and we're very confident we can bring those two candidates to the fight.
I think it's so amazing when you look at that date of March 11th. That was 3 weeks ago. I mean, 3 weeks ago is not a lot of time, and to hear that things are getting spun up so quickly, I think gives everyone more hope. And so, thank you to your facility for doing that. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Novavax partnership. What I love about it is the fact that you have two Maryland businesses down the street from one another who are coming together to work on a vaccine. And so I'd like to know, what does it mean for Emergent to be working so closely with another Maryland company like Novavax?
You know, we have a long-standing relationship with Novavax just simply in the local community. So we know the people, we have strong leadership relationships, and even our workforce, many of our scientists and manufacturing technicians and whatnot have some relational cross-pollination there that goes back many years. And we've shared employees in the past. We have employees that work for us that used to work for them and vice versa. So I think it's a very unique opportunity because we've known each other for quite a while. We have a connectivity from the top of the organization all the way down the ranks. And we've got, as I mentioned before, an awesome opportunity to bring their very capable platform into our manufacturing facility and then partner every step of the journey. And we're just down the road. We're just down the road from each other, which is going to make it even more effective to drive this candidate forward.
Yeah, it's breaking down barriers, which I think is great. So what people don't know is when you and I first jumped on this call together, one of the very first things you said to me without being prompted or really having a conversation, and to quote you, you said, "Our people are everything." And so I'd like to shift. I've had the pleasure really of getting to know you and several of your key employees over the past 2 years. And I know that your mission, which is to protect and enhance life, is something that you all feel very strongly about, as much internally as you do externally. And I have two additional commitment statements from Bob Kramer, your CEO, that I wanted to read. The first one is, "We are committed to the health and well-being of our employees and their families and have enacted measures to protect their health and safety." The second statement reads, "We are committed to the public health goal of flattening the curve and have mandated employees who can work from home to do so." So talk to me about your commitment to your employees at Emergent BioSolutions as really their commitment to the community and to public health.
Yeah, it's a very, very important point. I mean, I really, again, can't overstate it. I'm spending a lot of hours every day trying my best, working with the executive team to try our best to ensure that our employees really understand that the controls we've put in place, the teleworking policy that we've implemented, is really to preserve their health and safety, meaning those individuals who are going in to develop these critical products and to manufacture our entire portfolio and to execute the services we provide from a contract manufacturing perspective to outside companies who depend on us, who have their own life-saving products, who are protecting and enhancing life in their own way to ensure continuity of the supply of those critical products as well. And we've implemented teleworking policy, we've implemented social distancing policy. We're really down to the core of employees to go in and to help develop and manufacture these products every day. And we're doing everything we can to creatively look for ways to comfort them, to encourage them, to help them understand that they are the lifeblood of this organization. They are the solution. And if we're going to help in the broader industrial fight against COVID, they're absolutely critical to it. So, I've been filming these little videos that I send to the plants and to the development personnel just to try to express that, to express that level of love and compassion. And it's a challenging time for sure, but these people, they are the backbone of our company, and I'm very, very proud of them.
I love to hear you say that, because when the interview that I conducted last week, the CEO talked about leadership and empathy being a really big part of what's happening from the executive team right now. And so I'm just curious, what of your employees, who is actually going into your facilities? Is it scientists? Is it the manufacturers? Tell me about those people.
Yeah, and it's actually a broad array of folks. I mean, if you can think about an operation such as a manufacturing plant, I mean, we have maintenance personnel who are keeping us operational and keeping us performing in a GMP or FDA regulated compliant way. So we've got those folks. We've got analytical development scientists, process development scientists, manufacturing technicians, quality control analysts, quality assurance personnel, and then certain members of leadership that are going in there to ensure that the employees are supported. And I'm sure I've left some key groups off the list, but that's really the core group that I've mentioned. Our protective services personnel, our security personnel, they're actually going in to make sure that our employees are safe, that our plants are protected, because of what we do, we obviously play a key role in national preparedness, and we do have a pretty regimented and disciplined protective services methodology. But all of those folks are really the folks I'm referring to, who are stepping in every day to service our mission.
Absolutely. Well, I personally have been working with your communications team the past week to get all of this rolling, and I wanted to tell people that you guys are putting a lot of information out there on multiple channels, including 3 different social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And people can always go to your website, which is emergentbiosolutions.com. To get information, to learn more about all the things that you've discussed today, to see the video of Bob Kramer and his commitments, and just to learn more about the organization and your response to COVID-19. So I would encourage everyone who's listening to continue to check back and see what Emergent BioSolutions is doing. This is an incredible Maryland business in our own backyard who is working diligently in this COVID-19 pandemic. So I would like to read one final commitment statement from Bob Kramer. He says, "We are grateful for the committed support of all of our employees and the trust our patients and customers have invested in us as we all navigate this evolving global emergency together." So to wrap up our conversation today, Sean, can you share just one positive thing that you think will come out of this crisis? And it could be an advancement in vaccines and therapies, or maybe it's deeper human connections. I would really love to hear what good you think will come from all of this chaos.
Yeah, it's a great question. And, I've been reflecting back on the days following 9/11 and the sense of unity in the country and the way that we rallied around our nation and what it meant to be an American. So there's a part of that. Part of me is optimistic that we will come closer together as a society in that regard, that this challenge, this chaos, as you call it appropriately, will bring us a little closer together. And I also believe that, I've also been reflecting a little bit about World War II and the industrial base and how it rallied to the cause of our nation at that time. And I believe that the innovation in this country, I believe that the industrial capability in the biotech and pharmaceutical segment, as well as the U.S. government, is really going to flourish here. So I'm very optimistic that we will navigate this together as a private sector, as a public sector, as a country, and be stronger because of it.
I love that. We will continue to watch and to support all of you and your team. So thank you very much. I speak for my entire team at the Maryland Chamber of Commerce and, of course, all of our members. I believe that the biopharma and life science companies like Emergent BioSolutions, who are working on a vaccine, really do give everyone out there hope that there is a way through this and that there is life to be had on the other side of it. So thank you very much for being with me, Sean. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and thanks to everyone listening. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay committed.
Absolutely. You took the words out of my mouth. Thank you for everyone who's listening. I will be bringing you another interview next week with a Maryland business who is leading us through the COVID-19 crisis. I would encourage Maryland business owners to check our website, check it regularly. We are posting up-to-date information and resources. It's at www.mdchamber.org. Have a great day, everyone. Wishing you all good health.